Hey folks, John with Alternate Arms, your friend in less than lethal self-defense. We have got some bases to cover today. I've got some information for you on Paradigm, which is incredibly important, and we got something we've been waiting on forever. Let's get started. Okay guys, so I want to clear up a couple of things for you. I know there's been a lot of people that have placed some orders for the Paradigm PTX Bullpup. Guys, if you didn't see the Paradigm video, if you're new to the channel, I'll drop a link up here for you for that video. That thing is nuts, and there's just no other way to describe it. But we had a lot of people, this is a one-man operation. David, who actually runs it, will probably be in the chat here during this video, so if you have any questions for him, he'll be able to answer it. There was a little bit of a shipping snafu, and what had happened was they changed out a specific portion of the valve. You remember how I told you that this guy is an engineer, and everything he thinks of is ones and zeros, man. I mean, he is always moving with his mind. Well, on the original ones, there was a break-in period, so these things are designed to be fired. Take them out, fire them a lot, over and over again. Keep firing them. The more you fire them, the better they get. This is engineering, right? Well, we were discovering in the less than lethal market, nobody really needs that. What you guys want and what I want is one that I can pick it up and use it right now and it's ready to go without having to worry about any of that. So he heard the message and he corrected the issue. So before any other launchers went out, he made sure that this adjustment was already made in them and that they're ready to go out the door. Now, here's the best part. I have been told that all orders that are pending will ship by the end of the week. Now, keep in mind, this is July 4th week, right? So you may have a holiday delay there, but he said that all of them will be shipped by the end of the week. And there's a couple people, you know who I'm talking about. I've been emailing you back and forth. That should really put a smile on your face. So you are going to have a fun 4th of July, let me tell you. All right, guys, without further ado, the Walther PDP, and we are going to finally dig into this thing. Guys, you better get your popcorn. This may go a little long because I want to make sure we do it justice, all right? So, as you can see, I've got my PPQ up here. Y'all seen this one before. Now, whenever I mod any of the magazines, oh, by the way, hold on. Here. Say it with me, guys. Hey, YouTube, there are no firearms in this video. Okay, just make sure we get that out, yeah. You guys have seen this before. Every time I do a mod on a magazine, before I ever ship it out, this is the launcher that I use to actually test it after the mod is done. So every single magazine that goes out gets tested in this launcher. I have put literally thousands of rounds through this thing. This is a stock PPQ, of course the magazine mod, but as you can see, it is well worn and still 100% functional today. It is still a fantastic launcher. Now, let's hope the PDPs hold up as well. I got two to show you today. So let's crack this one open here. Man, we have been waiting on these for so long. There's the black one. All right, now we are gonna do a little side-by-side with the PPQ2 because a lot of people were asking about the weight on these. They do feel huskier. I mean, I can tell you they really do, but we're gonna find out exact specs here in just a second. All right, so taking a look up and down here, as you can see, they actually did change the slide. You still have the exact same slide release and lock. You've got your magazine release right here, a trigger safety, which is really nice, and the standard magazine. Now, you saw what we did before. Now, I want to demonstrate this to you before anybody else asks the question. This is a PDP magazine. This is a PPQ magazine. PPQ magazine and the PDP will not work. Okay, PPQ and PDP, and just to show you, will not work. However, the PDP magazine in the PPQ will work. Take a look there. As you can see, it is seated, locked in place, and fully functional. So, backwards compatible-ish, we'll call it that, all right? So, the PDP magazine will actually work in the PPQ, but not vice versa. So if you've got a PDP and a PPQ and you want spare mags, buy the PDP mags because they're going to be compatible and you're not going to have to worry about that, which is great, all right? Now, one thing that they did on this one I also want to show you, they maintained in the back here that exact same hidden Allen key in order to compress and decompress your CO2. That being said, in the shipment that I received with all these, I did get the quick pierces also. So we've got some quick pierce magazines for these as well. So, all right, so here's the black one, as you can see. There we go. And let's take a look at what else we got in here. Oh, by the way, anybody notice this? Yes. Yes, that is an optics rail. An interchangeable optics rail. And might I say, it's about time. Now, in the bag, you guys have always seen you get the little squeegee, and you also get the extra spring for the magazine. But you also get optional mounting rails for different types of optics. Man, can you say hollow dot? There's so many different optics you can actually mount to this thing now using all of the optional rails, and they are included, which is great. So there is our black one. Now, the blue one. We know the blue one on every other model came with an extra magazine. They just do, which is, I mean, it's cool in that they're not that much more expensive, but you get a second magazine, but it is blue. So let's take a look here and see if that is the case with the new one. And there it is. All right, so you've got the blue one. You also have all the exact same mounting plates, exact same kit, and you get an extra magazine. That is actually pretty darn cool. This is what we were looking for. Now, when we do our testing here in a little bit, okay, I'm going to tell you a little secret about this magazine. I knew the other magazine was in there because I looked at it, right? But this magazine has been modded. These have not. So when we did the test in a second for velocity on the black one here, because I wanted to do, I wanted to do a velocity test on this because if you'll recall, the last video we did on the PDP was a unit that has been cycled around to many gun shows and fired quite a bit. I wanted to know what they did right out of the box. That's why we're going to do velocities today on this one. But then we'll check the velocities with this mag. So if reality holds, this is generally around 5.5 joules out of the box. This will bump it up to around 7.5, maybe even a little bit more depending on how it fires. We're going to find out. All right, so somebody was asking about the weight on these things. Now, I just happen to have a scale here, and I'm going to tell you. So right now with the magazine installed, no CO2 and nothing else, the Walther PPQ weighs in at 1 pound, 14 ounces, okay? The PDP weighs in at 1 pound, 15 ounces. So it is an ounce heavier. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is noticeable when you're holding it. And it may just also be the build of the launcher and how it looks and feels. But if you take a look at it, it looks a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Industrial, mechanical perhaps, but it's probably one of the coolest looking Walthers I've ever seen. Now, while I was at a gun show this last weekend, I actually got to see a PDP on the shelf and compare them side by side. Guys, if you set them side by side, you can't tell the difference. I mean, except the markings, they look exactly like it, and all furniture fit. So, number one, the sights, which of course it's a universal plate there, but also the holsters, lasers, lights, everything else you can put on it was universal, which is pretty cool. So, all right, here's what we're gonna do. I wanna test these with a standard round. I'm gonna use, if you are ever considering using these for self-defense, you're going to want to run pepper rounds. There's just no way around it because kinetic defense with any kind of padding is not going to be enough of an impact. You hit them in a shirt like this, you may be okay with a modded spring, but you want to run pepper rounds for sure. So let's get out some rounds, and I'll tell you what, these are going to weigh in. These are the practice pepper rounds. They're going to be a little too light for that scale. So let's go down to the little one here. There we go. So the practice pepper rounds are going to weigh in at 0.72 grams. So they're very light, okay? But that's okay. It doesn't matter how heavy they are. It just matters that we know what the weight is so that when we go out, and you know what, let's weigh a second one just to be sure. Yeah, 0.72. Let's see, another one. Just grabbing them out of the bag there. 0.76. So yeah, we'll call it 0.75. That seems to be an average. 0.74. Yeah, so we'll call it 0.75. All right. That way we'll be able to see what kind of a joule rating we're getting out of it. So, all right, without further ado, I'm going to put a CO2 in this cartridge. You guys have seen that done 100 times. I'm going to put a CO2 cartridge in this magazine, and then we will test it both ways and see what kind of velocities we're getting. Let's head to the range. Okay, folks, as you can see, we're set up on our range down here. Those are our old super beat up Scullies down there. I didn't want to print out a brand new one for this because we're not really doing kinetic impact tests at this point. We're just doing velocity tests, and I want to see how it actually fires with those, 0.75 ground rounds. So we're going to find out. All right, we've got our chrono zeroed out, and what I want to do, so by the way, guys, just for reference, remember how I told you our testing range, right? Typically, our range, we're going to be 1, 2, 3. This is 9 feet. So 3 to 5 meters, 9 to 15 feet is standard, okay? But we're gonna go 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at 21 feet right here. It's right here, and I'm gonna move the camera right up to here so you guys can see this. And this is where we're gonna fire from. So we're shooting at 21 feet. I'm going to try to keep the chrono in the camera so you guys can actually see this. Hang on a second here. All right, and glasses on. All right. Here we go. So we're going to charge the launcher. All right, by the way, not a firearm, just saying. All right, let's see if I can get us a reading right off the bat. 410, 394, 412, 378, and blowing pieces of Scully away there. 378, 377, and we get there. Error, and 356, and as you can see, we are locked back. So, hang on a second here, glasses off. Okay, put that down here, let's take a look here. So, as you guys could see, okay, actually, you know, I wish that this camera could do justice to the amount of cloud that there is right here right now. Those are 43 caliber. They're small rounds, and yet it's still baby powder from about here. So you've got a good 9 square feet that is just coated in that light baby powder. So yeah, that looked a whole lot more accurate than I was wondering. So I'm going to turn this sideways for this test just to see. Maybe I'll turn that like that. I get some clean sides to hit on that one because, oh man, everything is covered in that powder. Look at this. Yuck. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use our modded magazine. So we're dropping out that one. We're going to put in our modded mag. All right, let's see if we're going to get any kind of a difference here, guys. All right, I'm going to leave that up there so you see we're at 356, correct? All right, charging it, and let's go for the one in the middle. Error. Yeah, dude, I can feel that's harder. 414, 408, 388, 379, 371, 370, well, that was an error. Error. Oh, and I'm locked back. Of course, I had a couple errors. All right, glasses off. Let's go over here and take a look at that real quick. So, yes, that's what I was thinking. It is as accurate as it was, as I was feeling that it actually was. So, where I was hitting, actually, it's kind of neat because you can see where the blue had skittered off the edge of Scully here. So it blew through the side right. I was hitting right there. See how it was skittering right here? And it was hitting actually quite solid. Now, what I want to try, I want to do one more test. Since we've got the extra magazine in here, hang on, I'm going to load up 8 more rounds, and then we're going to try something that I know everybody out there would like to see. So hold on a second here. 6, 7, and 8. All right. Now, remember, keeping in mind that this is our second magazine run here. Let's pull this out of the way. And what I want to do is I'm going to show you, if you were using one of these in an actual self-defense situation, okay, how you want to fire it. So I'm going to move you up here. I'm going to stay where the camera is, but I want you to see. I'm going to try to get a shot. Let's see. I've got a clean side here. That's a clean side right there. Poor Scully. Got to retire him. He's toast. All right. I'm going to show you what you would actually see if somebody was firing this. By the way, once again, here we go again. If I got to move Stumpy in here, I will. But you guys know I don't BS you. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21. Okay, right there. Here we go. Glasses on. And I'm going to fire like crazy. All right. Glasses up. Okay. Guys, okay, now can you see the smoke cloud? Can you see the smoke cloud? Okay. Is that where I hit? Okay. That was a really nice tight grouping right there. So what I did is I was staying on target. I was actually aiming right about here. So it's aiming a little bit high to the right. But at the end of the day, if you're going to put a hollow sight on this, it's not going to matter anyway, because you're going to, sight in that dot. That's all that's going to matter. But as you can see, it most assuredly has the impact, and it puts up a cloud in that area, which is what really counts. Now there's one more test I want to do. So I have got in the magazine here a full load of the 1 gram QABs. Now this is that new Umarex, what they call quick access balls or glass breakers, okay? And I want to see if we see a velocity change on the QABs from this same range. So let me get up here on it here, and we're going to try this again, and let me see what we're getting out of this, because I am curious. I wanted to check this anyway. So here we go. 1 gram, 383, 364. Guys, I'm hitting the same hole. There we go. 351, 350, error. Error, I'm getting a lot of errors here. Why am I getting so many errors? Sorry about that, guys. 317 and 307. All right, now let's go in the office and talk about this. Here we go. All right, guys, so what do we think of the Umarex Walther PDP? Well, all right, 2 things for you. The quick access balls, if we're firing at we'll say right at 1 gram, right, on average, in that 400 meter or feet per second range, you're probably looking at around 7.5 joules, close to 8, right where I said we would be. So stock, you're shooting at the 585, 5, right in that area, and probably in the mid 7s to high 7s when you use the mod spring. I will tell you 2 things. Number 1, if you get the launcher, and this goes for every T4E. I don't care if it's the Walther, the Glock, which Walther, the Glock, the Smith, HK, or anything, any of them. Mod the spring. If you're going to use this for anything other than plinking, mod the spring for sure. No question of it, because you need that extra power. Anything you can get out of it is better, right? Number 2, run pepper balls. If you're going to use something like this, you're not going to get enough kinetic impact if they're wearing any kind of padded clothing to actually affect them unless you get a neck, head, knee, groin shot, that kind of thing. However, if you're using a pepper round, that tends to offset that some, as long as you get a burst on the pepper round, and you can see it clearly does, and it clearly does cause a cloud, which is great too. But you're going to want to run a pepper round for sure, and a high quality one. Do not use Lancer tactical rounds. You know what I'm talking about. And do not use the cheap pepper ball rounds that you can get from other places that we won't say. But there are good pepper rounds available, so if you need those, let me know. Now, as promised, guys, if you get these off of the website, and you guys know where the website is, you know it, everything's in the description down there. If you get them from me, they will come with the magazine spring pre-installed. So you're not going to have to worry about that. It's already going to come the way it should have been out of the factory, and it's not going to cost you anything extra. I take care of you guys on that, as I've always promised. Any magazines that you order will also be pre-modded, so you don't have to worry about that either. So I like these a lot. The feel of them is a lot different than a PPQ. And I know that sounds weird, but they physically feel different. The grip is different. The feel of it, they seem to have more front heavy weight on them, and they are just smooth as glass. They really, really are. In fact, once you had the mod spring in there, you're feeling a lot of snap out of that thing, which you don't usually feel out of too many of them other than maybe the Glock. So it's a beautiful, wonderful launcher, and man, it's just another win for T4E, right? It really is. The glass breaker balls are also pretty darn good. In fact, they were demolishing poor Skelly. I was finding that when I was firing at that 20-foot range, particularly the fast rounds and just like cycling, you can keep it right on target, and it was drilling through considerably harder than I expected it to, which was a pleasant surprise. I'm not going to complain about that. But guys, win. Another one. Walther PDP, another win. And I really have no complaints out of them, except it would be great if they fired about 15 joules. That's my only complaint. Other than that, they're fantastic. They really are. Hey, thank you so much for watching. There was a big swell of interest in the retro game systems. We were at a craft show a couple weeks ago, and I put a picture up and showed you guys where I was at. I am going to be adding those retro game systems to the Alternate Arms site in a subcategory. But before I do, tomorrow I'm dropping a how-to video. They all ship out with an instruction manual, but it would be really nice to be able to have kind of a video to reflect on so you can, learn navigation, all that stuff. Once that video drops tomorrow, and it's going to drop on both channels, then you'll be able to find them on the website. So if you want one, I'll have it out there for you. Have a great week, guys. Have a great 4th of July. I'll probably see you before then, but if not, be safe out there and take care of each other. Bye-bye.